Well, how do you love being blessed with so many great rabbis, right? Just thank you. Maybe now that you hear that, you'll all nod. How great is it to be blessed with this many great rabbis? Yes, yeah. Thank you. They couldn't hear me, obviously. So what musicians and your cantors. So I want to first say thank you to Rabbi Ryan Bauer for sharing your bima with me this evening and building a beautiful, beautiful team of clergy and educators and your amazing cantors and the musicians. Wow. So thank you to Rabbi Sidney Mintz. Thanks, Sid. Thank you to Rabbi Noah Westreich and Rabbi Sarah Paris, Rabbi Madeline Budman, Cantor Arik Luck, and of course, Cantor Marcia Atty. Wow. I also want to say a special thank you to Terry Krause, who helped to make everything about this visit easier and wonderful. And where is she? All right. Where are you? Wait, I still don't. There you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you enjoy the chocolates. Oh, she'll share. Find her the oneg. So, as you might know, and of course, as one of your rabbis already alluded to, this week's Torah portion has one of the most iconic scenes in the entire Torah, where Jacob already had left Haran years ago. Oh, hello, Betsy Torah. Amazing to see you and Michael. Well, Shabbat Shalom. I thought I got my biggest bonus treat by seeing Rabbi Larry Kushner. Where are you, Rabbi? Where I thought that was already my biggest bonus treat. How did I realize that I would be so lucky to see even others here? How wonderful. And I just want to say one thing really quickly about Rabbi Kushner, that he is one of the Gedolim in our movement, beyond our movement, really, of the generation of rabbis that exists in this universe right now. He is a Gadol of Gadols. And I just want to say that you know, because you've been able to learn with him for so long, that when we say in this holiday that we already heard a little bit about coming up, when we say Nes Gadol Hayasham, I would say Nes Gadol Ze Po. So thank you so much, Rabbi Kushner, for being a luminary for all of us for these many years. So, back to Jacob. So Jacob, you know, has already, he had to leave the land of Israel, Canaan. He had to leave there because he had stolen the birthright from his brother Esau, huge, burly brother, not happy at all about having given up the birthright to Jacob. And so Jacob's mom, Rebecca, said, get out of Dodge. And so he did. He went out of town, he left Canaan, and he went to Haran. And there he had not one marriage, but two at the same time. And he had many children, and he acquired much wealth, and he also didn't have a great relationship with his in-laws. I know that you're going to fare much better, David. So he knows that he's got to actually go back to Canaan. And he knows that when he does so, he's going to meet up with Esau. And he realizes at the beginning of this week's Torah portion that Esau is indeed waiting for him with 400 soldiers. And so you can imagine that Jacob did not rest well, knowing that the next day he was going to encounter his brother with 400 other soldiers. So he doesn't sleep well. In fact, he has this restless night, and he wrestles all night. So in the dark of night, there he is wrestling with another being. And at the break of dawn, the sun is about to break, and Jacob's wrestling partner says, I've got to go. And Jacob, who'd been injured in this battle, he did not come out unscathed, but he's still cheeky enough to say, I will not let you go until you bless me. I will not let you go unless you bless me. And I have to say, not only what courage, but what chutzpah. And for me, it's not the blessing itself that I find so compelling, but it's Jacob's bold move. The wrestling partner in all ways has the upper hand. And Jacob acknowledges this, And yet he still says, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And it's baffling that in this week's Torah portion, at the center of this story is a mystery, which is, who is it that Jacob is wrestling with? And the sages contemplate the many options, and some say it's God, and some say it's an angel, some say it's Esau, and some say it's Jacob wrestling with himself. And I think what a perfect Torah portion to welcome one of your newest rabbis, Rabbi Rena Singer, because especially in this week's Torah portion, there's this ambiguity, this mystery as to who exactly Jacob wrestles with and who he demands a blessing from. And I think by leaving that ambiguity, our Torah implies that it could be anyone, which in turn implies that it should be everyone. That each encounter, even that the ones that include struggle, may within them hold blessing. And that the challenge of life is figuring out how exactly we can access blessing from our encounters. And I want to say that this is one of the greatest gifts of your Rabbi Singer. She knows how it is to be able to wrest blessings from each person, each being, each moment. And so, as I want to tell you about the ways in which Rabbi Singer wrests blessings from congregational life, then you'll understand what a true blessing she is to Congregation Emanu-El. So to do that, I have brought some gifts from Chicago to represent the blessings she has received from certain wrestling partners and that she brings with her to you here, her congregation of Congregation Emanu-El. So Rabbi Singer, would you mind coming up to the bima to receive these gifts? So, it is very exciting. But don't get too excited. They're symbolic. So the first is boggle, all right? Because it boggles the mind how Rabbi Singer always finds the perfect words. Has anybody ever played boggle here? You know, you shake it up, you find the words. But she always finds the perfect words in pastoral situations, at weddings, on the bima, in sermons, and especially in classrooms with students of all ages, sometimes the trickiest ages. She always finds the words. And I think this is one of your greatest gifts. You somehow know how to articulate something buried deep in our hearts, or even something that's still formulating in the recesses of our minds, and you're able to articulate what we think or feel about a pressing situation, or a personal relationship, or a current issue. By the way, everybody is noting how important this is. I'm not sure what's going off right now, but Rabbi Bauer is going to figure it out. So I want to say here that you have this ability to articulate something that we can't articulate yet to ourselves, and then you help us to understand an issue or a relationship or a pressing concern. You help us to address things differently and better than we would have had you not been able to articulate it. You help us find words that we can't find by ourselves, and by doing so, you make meaning of our world, and in so doing, you help us to live more purposeful lives. So, you know, she's received many blessings from God, yet for me and for you, a great gift is to witness the ways that Rabbi Singer, our Rabbi Rena, wrestles with herself to find blessings. So you no doubt have already noticed many of Rabbi Singer's talents: speaking, singing, relating, loving, learning, teaching. She's able to do all these things so well by not spending so much time on life's, say, organizational details. Those seem to bog so many of us down. And I'll just give you a for instance. For instance, most of the clergy at Temple Sholem come down to services a little early to adjust our talitot and microphones, and Rabbi Singer, on the other hand, comes to services a little beforehand and finds her microphone, and then realizes that she doesn't have her talit. Not once or twice, every time. So she grabs one from just outside the sanctuary and leads services beautifully and thoughtfully and with incredible wisdom, and with her talit terribly askew. So, Rabbi Singer, but not tonight. But to remember those times, oh, I hope it's still in this one. It is. A talit from Temple Sholem. That you can hang just, maybe somewhere inside the sanctuary. And when you wear it, as my bubby would say, wear it in good health. So now to symbolize the chaos that is often Rabbi Singer's office, I was going to bring a beautiful piece of chocolate that is called the Chaos Board. And I ordered it specially and very early from a chocolatier in Chicago who also seems to not be bogged down by those details. So the delivery is coming 3 days later than it is tonight, which is 10 days later than it was supposed to be delivered. But I did, oh, what?
I was gonna say that's when my gifts for people sometimes arrives.
Oh, yeah, so it is very, yes, karmically it has worked out for Rabbi Singer, because that's often when people get their gifts. So I did what Rabbi Singer would do, which you've seen her do countless times on Modern Ritual. I decided to find something accessible to me and incorporate it into an important moment in a way that is creative and memorable, right? That's what Rabbi Singer does. Don't let the details bog you down. Find something really beautiful that's right nearby and bring it and elevate it. So, of course, this morning, it turned out that I went to a beautiful place for yoga and found a candle that's called Creativity. And I just want to let you know that may you also enjoy this and know that the details of life, really sometimes you're right, they could be left aside because what you find along the way is much more significant, because you can do this with your creativity. Doesn't taste as good as the Chaos Board, though. And I just want to then give you one last piece to this. You could put it on. I see you don't have a kippah on, so why not a chef's hat instead? For good reason, not a chef's hat instead. But I will just let you know that it says Chef Singer. Now, she's a really amazing chef. But the other thing is that she takes everyday ingredients and she puts them together in ways that make our lives feel better, yummier, more enriched. And for that, I would say that maybe who you've been wrestling with is like Jacob, an angel. Because angels, as Forno said about this week's Torah portion, well, they realize that the righteous are greater than any of them, that the righteous are actually greater than ministering angels, because the righteous actually lead us in directions that even the angels can't. Well, I'll give you an example. So in the vision of Isaiah, you know it well because every morning when we say the Kedusha in our Amidah, or when we go up on our tippy toes in the prayer, in that central prayer, we do so because we are enacting, or in some ways we are trying to embody Isaiah's vision, where the angels are surrounding the throne of glory, and they're saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the God of all being." And then they say, and God's holiness is everywhere. But the angels can't tell us that. The angels can't bring that to us. It's the righteous who bring that to us. This is what Rabbi Rena does all the time. you have this beautiful ark here, beautiful, that says, know before whom you stand. And she says, take what's in there, take the Torah and all its teachings, and then she makes them so accessible that they're in our hearts. And then we realize that we're always in holiness, and that our everyday lives that sometimes feel so crummy can actually be elevated by her just saying the right word in the right moment that shows us how to reframe something. There was once a time where she gave a beautiful sermon on the High Holy Days, where she said to everyone, find ways to make holiness less stodgy and more accessible. And she told us the ways in which she made Midwesterners uncomfortable by having Havdalah outside. And they just kind of put any two candlesticks together and just had it in this very creative way. And they felt uncomfortable, and San Franciscans don't think you're going to get away from that. She does these things very well. When she was telling this, then she ended the whole sermon by helping the congregation to know that we can all do this too, that it wasn't just for rabbis to lead this. So what she did is she had us all sing about the ways in which our lives are imperfect, and they're sloppy, and they're clumsy, and yet, may God always hear the ways in which we're striving. And then she had us all sing, Ken Yehi Ratzon. May that be God's will. She is incredible. She learns from God. She takes blessings from God and angels and people and even herself. Oh, but I didn't tell you about the angels who you're wrestling with. Oh, this is the representation of that. If you don't know it, it's Angel's Envy, because she also really makes a great cocktail.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. So, I love it with the wings and all. I've not actually seen a bottle of this before. So, of course, she wrests blessings from God and angels and people and herself, because she lives by her favorite teaching from the Mishnah, which is, who is wise? One who learns from every person. And tonight, of course, it's up to you, her congregation, to bless her. And we'll do that more formally soon, but for this last part, I'd love for Rabbi Singer to be joined now by David. And if you would, and the reason why I'm having you come up here is because to bless your beautiful new rabbi, you bless her family unit, which includes her incredible David, who knows that her devotion to the synagogue is also his. And so as you come here, I invite you to just, these are, by the way, certified kosher. They're from the Kosher T-shirt Deli. Please open them, and if you would, put them on. I think it'll even go over your talit, I'm not sure. It'll also come off much easier when you're ready to talk. But if you would, put these on, because I invite the congregation to give them the space. You gotta put them on. Okay, you can hold them up, but your arms might get tired, because I'm gonna talk for a while. Up to you. All right. They are very strong. So I invite you to give them the space to navigate their roles in the synagogue together, and to support them and respect their warmth and their boundaries as they enjoy this next stage of life and the ways they manifest their love in this world. And of course, Beth and Jonathan are now hoping that I mention something about future grandchildren. But we'll see what the future holds. Right now, we honor them as a beautiful unit whose time together is precious, and you know that you will get the most out of this gift of a rabbi by encouraging her to nurture this special relationship with David. So David and Rena, as you hold up these shirts, I'm glad that you did take a rest, but now you can hold them up one more time. And by the way, this is going to work best if you actually know who these characters are from the Muppets. And I'll just say that this esteemed congregation, if you play your cards right, they might grow old here and sit right up there and be like Statler and Waldorf, commenting on services and life with humor and love. And they will marvel at the congregation that our Rabbi Singer has helped to shape, and that has also helped to shape her into one of the great, great, great rabbis of our time. She already is, but you will have such joy in helping her to lift this. And so maybe they'll be up on this bima. Sorry, up here. I would say I think that might be the choir loft. No, I think that might just be more seating. And I think that that's a great place for them to be and say, like David will turn to Rena and say, "Wake me up when the service starts." And she'll say, "It's already been going on a while." And then David will say, "Then wake me up when it's over." And she'll pat him on the shoulder and say, "I love how you keep your sense of humor in situations where it isn't appropriate." And he'll respond, "The secret to our humor, we just say what everyone else is thinking." So, I'll say, continue to be brave to articulate the things that we think but are afraid to say. Continue to have the courage to be a person of conscience without becoming self-righteous. And continue to learn and grow and shine and serve this beautiful community with your whole heart. It was a thrill to watch you wrest blessings from 4 years at Temple Sholem of Chicago. And now is your time to bless and be blessed at Congregation Emanu-El in San Francisco. I'll just close with this. When we were on a retreat with our beloved mentor, Rabbi Hoffman, he helped us to craft mission statements for ourselves. So if you only remember one thing tonight, this is what you want to remember. She wrote this: "I am a vibrant spirit who brings more beauty into the world through stories and deep connections." This is your rabbi, a vibrant spirit who brings so much beauty into this world. She hears our stories and makes them her own. She shares her stories so she's more accessible, and then Judaism is more accessible. Holiness, everyday holiness, is more accessible through her stories, and through those we find deep connections. You have a gift of a rabbi here. Nurture her, love her, and for sure, and always, find in her blessings. Shabbat Shalom.